Mr. Paul, do you see any difference from now and comparing with the 22nd of May?
That's a really good point. I think the really key issue here is that in Bangkok and in Thailand, most of us don't. I mean, I think maybe the curfew was a little bit inconvenient, and the night that the coup was declared, the traffic was terrible getting home. But I think it was really those kinds of issues. I don't think we've seen really big dramatic day-to-day changes, and yet. I've had so many telephone calls from overseas, from friends, from relatives saying, oh my God, we've seen this footage of Thailand on the news and it looks scary. And I have to say to them, it doesn't look like that where I am. I haven't seen that many soldiers. I haven't seen tanks in the street. I think it's all been fairly calm, and I think the situation really is, business as normal. I was actually speaking at an event where some foreign institutions were visiting Thailand, and
on that day?
Well, it was about a week later, and,
right,
and they were ringing me up saying, "Oh my God, should we have this conference? Should we cancel it?" And I was saying,
Right.
there's no reason to cancel. Everything is very, very normal. So I think from my perspective, if we look at the way the economy, we look at the streets, we look at everything. Even the capital markets. We've seen such a strong rally in the capital markets since May 22nd. So I don't see that there's been any major difference, except for the fact that a lot of the uncertainty and a lot of the worries, that seems to be calming down a lot now. That seems to be under control. So no, I don't really see any great problems or any great changes since then.
Right.
What about yourself? You think you get the same feeling, or?
Yeah, I think this coup is like very, very, very calm coup.
It's almost like a low-key coup, isn't it?
Low-key, yeah, indeed. And it's good in a way that it can end the political deadlock that have been through the country for like 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, so right now, from now on, we know who is in charge.
Exactly.
Before that, there's non-function government, and the normal administrative procedure cannot done. What do you think about this point of view?
People outside Thailand have a very different view, and I think there's a real danger that they hear about a coup d'état, and they assume there's soldiers on the streets, but they also assume that there's some very repressive regime, and that that everything in every aspect of life gets interfered with, including capital markets. We don't seem to have that. We seem to have. It seems to be a populist coup. I mean, I noticed that there were polls.
Policy,
Well, exactly. All the policies seem to be very, very populist, and I actually worry maybe we're going too far. It seems to be maybe it's a little bit too soft a coup. We can't give everybody everything, and I think there's a little bit of a danger that in 2006, I think they made mistakes by trying to keep everybody happy. And I think there's a little bit of a danger that we shouldn't give in to that. Everybody has demands. If we try to meet them all and make everybody happy, then there's a real risk of making policy mistakes. But I think your key thesis is absolutely right. This is not it's not a repressive regime. There's no question of that. This is a liberal, free market, capitalist. It's benevolent dictatorship, I think you were saying. So I think I don't think we have anything to worry about from that point of view.
Yeah, and in the policy perspective, in my idea, it's more like maybe you don't like it very much, but in my idea, it's more like they kind of prioritize the needs, economic needs. Right now, in the point of view of economists like myself, I saw that a lot of indicators are going down quite rapidly, especially the domestic demand.
Sure.
So they prioritize it. They for example, they disburse the farmer money, which is very important because the farmer lacks of income for quite a while, and also they remain.
Well, also I think it goes beyond the farmers. I think a lot of the upcountry economies were really suffering because if the farmers haven't got money, then the whole regional economy starts to suffer. So I think there was a real problem there, and I agree with that. I think that was a very, very smart move. Where I'm a little bit worried is
the infrastructure project.
I think the infrastructure project, and also I think it's almost like we have a government that's trying to be a little bit too pro-growth, in my view. And I know that's the opposite of what military regimes do. And, but that's why I try to explain to foreigners. Thailand is different. This coup is different. This government is different. Thailand has a different set of rules to anywhere else. And I think the worry for me is that we were building up consumer debt much too quickly
All right.
after 2011,
80
2012.
something %,
Exactly, it was spiraling much too quickly.
Yes, indeed.
And because of that, that's one of the headwinds that we had last year.
Right.
2013, the reason that the economy was slowing was that people had already built up too much debt in the previous years.
Yeah.
They weren't able to keep consuming at the same rate.
Right.
And I think, the idea that we had some kind of a reset and we had some kind of limit on how much debt people were taking on, I think that's actually a good thing. Recessions aren't always bad. If they actually cleanse a situation and we get debt back under control, that can be a real positive. And I think my biggest worry about some of the announcements that I've seen recently